Live from clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6:30 p.m.
It was amazing, and I am exhausted.
And I am jealous. She got to fly high and fast over Central Florida, courtesy of the Blue Angels. Hear what it was like to soar with the elite team a little later. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30, Getting Results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Warmouth. A local town rooted in Black history could soon be home to a new statewide museum. Ahead on News 6 at 6:30, Eatonville is a finalist for the new Black History Museum. How the town hopes to win the big honor and what it would mean. Plus, one of our top trending stories, time is running out for more than 50,000 Floridians to get money back from the IRS, why those refunds were never mailed, and how to claim what's yours.
Right now at 6:30, some of you may be smelling or seeing the gray streaks in the sky. It looks better as we take a live look now, but those smoky conditions this afternoon from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera in downtown Orlando. Turns out it comes from a controlled burn, but not the same large controlled burn that sent smoke from Volusia County all the way to Altamont Springs. News 6's Catherine Silver is in Seminole County tonight, seeing how these burns could get results and keep brush fire season from raging out of control.
Video from Sky 6 shows the smoke from a 23-acre prescribed burn in the Black Hammock area. The heaviest smoke seen east of Lake Jessup. A fire like this you can see and smell if you're close by, but much bigger burns have a bigger impact.
We know you probably smelled smoke and saw smoke yesterday. We certainly saw a lot of you were talking about it. So in times like this, we turn to our experts for their perspective. Meteorologist Candace Campos.
We spoke with our News 6 Pinpoint Weather team about all the smoke.
And you have the fire here and then the smoke.
Most of it northwest of any fires because of the wind.
Yesterday, there were two prescribed burns, one in Seminole County, one in Volusia. That was actually more than 3,000 acres where a lot of the smoke was seen in Seminole County.
Everywhere they're highlighted in red are some sort of active fire, prescribed burn, things like that. But you can see in that gray that all indicates where that smoke is traveling to. That's that southeast breeze that's been warming us up, keeping us nice and dry. But it's also what's kind of pushing that smoke towards the north and west.
Why are we noticing so much of the smoke this week?
It's that big ridge of high pressure, the same one that's keeping us dry and hot for the next few days. It also acts like a top. So is all that sinking air. Think of like a boiling pot of water and you put a lid on top. That high is like that lid. So it keeps all of that smoke down to the surface, doesn't let it lift and escape. We also don't have very strong winds, hence why they have the prescribed burns. We do need them right before we get into that busy, stormy season of the wet season here in Central Florida.
With limited rain, dry brush, and downed trees from hurricane season, there were more than 2,600 reported wildfires in Florida last year. They burned over 101,000 acres.
All it takes is 2 or 3 weeks of dry conditions here in Florida, and our wildfire activity is going to pick up significantly.
Burns that are chosen and controlled play a vital role, clearing out brush and reducing the risk for wildfires as the season begins. In Seminole County, Catherine Silver, Getting Results, News 6.
And the fires are definitely something to keep an eye on with the dry conditions out there.
Oh yeah, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is in for Tom tonight, pinpointing when we could finally see some rain.
Yeah, and it's not going to be for a while, really until the early stages of next week. Do want to show you where those controlled burns were earlier in the day, how the radar loop over the last 3 hours, and you see the smoke plumes here coming out of western Brevard County, a few in Osceola County, and parts of Polk County as well. The green is the smoke showing up on the radar. Those have subsided as the fires have been allowed to be put out, but it is still mild out there. There's still a little residual haze in the mix. 77 right now for us in Daytona Beach. Melbourne, good evening. We're at 77. Kissimmee, St. Cloud, we're back to the mid-80s. Poinciana, for us in a celebration as well. We're in the middle 80s at this hour. Sanford, we are checking in at 83 degrees. Satellite and radar, again, other than some of that haze out there and some of those higher thin clouds, we're doing pretty good. A nice quiet evening again. Still not too humid out there. We are going to add a little bit of extra humidity over the next few days. Still not tropical, still not oppressive or anything like that. But you will notice a little more coming up over the next few days as we really crank up the thermostat into record territory for the weekend. We're going to pinpoint all of that, guys, coming up in about 10 minutes.
See you then. Thank you, Jonathan. Developing now in Brevard County, the son of a man arrested for his wife's murder is now also facing charges. Detectives say he set fire to a truck with his stepmother's body inside. Amber, a stepmom, first reported her missing in January. Her case took a bizarre twist when investigators found her husband's pickup truck on fire in Brevard County. They then found her dead off the side of a highway in Mims. Now investigators say her husband, Brian, killed her, and her stepson, Lane, set his dad's pickup truck on fire to hide the evidence. Last month, News 6's James Barbero asked the Brevard County Sheriff about how witnesses saw that truck in flames.
What might have happened if no one saw that truck being set on fire?
Well, that truck plays a pivotal part in this investigation. So if some of our citizens hadn't brought that forward to us, we would have eventually found that. But having it at the immediate time, all those dots connected. A lot of people loved Amber, and they, were very hurt by this.
Now, Brian was arrested last month in West Virginia. He remains in jail there without bond. Lane was arrested yesterday. He faced a judge today and is also in jail on no bond.
Well, Eatonville is known as one of the first self-governing all-black towns in the U.S., and now state leaders are considering making it the home of the state's new Black History Museum. The town was first incorporated in 1887 and was home to acclaimed author Zora Neale Hurston. News 6's Laverne McGee went there today. She tells us what city leaders are doing to win the bid.
The town of Eatonville is the oldest black community in the United States. They're hoping that, along with their proposal, will help make them the winning bid. Where exactly do you want to have it?
We're going to be right here.
Shan Rose, a Town of Eatonville executive director, says this is the perfect location for the state's proposed Florida Museum of Black History. It's right off of I-4, Kennedy and Wymore. It's in the center of the state. It also happens to be the first historically black city to be incorporated in Florida, after remarkably being settled by former slaves in 1887. It meant blacks here could vote, have their own law enforcement, and manage their own affairs.
Every square foot of this place is Black history.
That history also includes author Zora Neale Hurston, who grew up here. A yearly festival in her name attracts thousands from all over the country. They just found out they're in the number 2 position behind St. Johns County. Rose believes the only reason they're in the number 2 spot is because when they first submitted their proposal, this plot of land was in dispute. It's actually owned by the Orange County school system. But Rose says they now have confirmation that the land will be released if they win the bid.
The plaintiff, who assumed OCPS, is willing to say, here, we are in support of it.
The top 4 locations have been invited to answer questions from the Florida Museum of Black History Task Force at a meeting to be held this Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Tallahassee. That will be the final step in the bid process before the governor, House, and Senate receive the results.
We have rich culture here.
The task force is expected to make their choice and recommendations by July 1st. Reporting in Eatonville, Laverne McGee, Getting Results, News 6.
I love this idea, and I really hope they rise to the top and really get it done, because it's not just Zora Neale Hurston. I was driving through Eatonville one day when I first moved here. I'm like, why is there a street named after Deacon Jones? And then guess what? He was
now, we might be biased, but I think they should be the number 1 spot.
I think so, too.
And so many people drive by that plot of land on I-4 wondering why nothing has been built there.
Yep.
You heard a little bit why. And to have this potentially going there is incredible.
It's going to be phenomenal.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet spot, too. Well, it was the flight of a lifetime for Seminole County's Teacher of the Year.
Ahead of the Orlando Air Show this weekend, the Blue Angels had Shannon Hodges on board on an honor flight to recognize her service to the Seminole County community. News 6's Emily McLeod was there for all the action.
Here we go. Heavy's coming down.
Shannon Hodges suited up for the flight of her life on Wednesday.
It was amazing, and I am exhausted.
Hodges was recently named Seminole County Schools 2024 Teacher of the Year and was selected to fly with the Blue Angels ahead of the Orlando Air Show this weekend. She now works at Bear Lake Elementary as an instructional math coach, but prior to that, she was a 3rd grade teacher at Spring Lake Elementary.
I definitely don't want to fly any other way except with the Blue Angels in the future.
But Hodges has a more personal connection to the flight.
My dad passed away 2 years ago, but he had been in the Air Force and he loved planes. So I flew and had some of his wings, and then I had the little placard from his funeral. And then my mom and my husband were able to get his jacket from when he was in the military, and it actually rode in the cockpit with me. So it's been a really amazing and emotional day.
Several people came out to support Hodges, including family and coworkers.
What was it like seeing her go up on that vertical incline?
I was wondering what she was thinking at that moment, and of course we were all well wishing her before she left, and I had texted her and said, you know, you're in great hands, you know, trust the process. This is going to be a great experience for you.
Hodge's honor flight comes ahead of the Orlando Air Show happening at the Orlando Sanford Airport. Director of Public Relations for the Orlando Air Show, Chris Dorado, says it's hard to describe it. You just have to experience it.
You come out and bring kids out and show your kids who's protecting our freedom every day. I mean, I think that's a very important component to air shows.
In Sanford, Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
Shout out Bear Lake Elementary. I went there years ago.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Seminole County born and bred. Well, I'm sure that teacher's flight will soon be one of the top stories trending tonight on clickorlando.com, and that's because the air show already is.
Of course it is. You can catch the Blue Angels and 8 other acts Saturday and Sunday at Orlando Sanford International Airport. The air show starts at noon both days.
All right, so our second top trending story has a lot of you hoping for some money back. The headline, 53,000 Florida taxpayers have until May 17th to collect a potential refund.
Yeah, now that money is from the IRS, but not from the taxes that were due on Monday. And as News 6 investigator Mike Holfeld explains, if you miss next month's deadline, the money is gone for good.
There's many situations where a taxpayer may not file, and there's a 3-year window where they can get that money back.
It's a tax deadline that could mean refunds for 53,200 Florida taxpayers, dating back to 2020.
These are taxpayers that haven't filed.
IRS spokesperson Alejandro Castro tells News 6 May 17th is the deadline for taxpayers to file their 2020 tax return. Miss it, and your money, that uncollected refund, goes straight to the U.S. Treasury Department. Hit that May 17th or the money's gone.
Correct.
And then how much money do you think we're talking about?
$58 million in total for the state of Florida is what we estimate.
I mean, that's a lot of money. The total in uncollected refunds across the country stands at $1 billion with a B. The key? Don't put it off.
If you haven't filed the 2020 tax return and you think you may be owed some money, gather your documents now and file.
If you need personal tax records to complete the tax return, you can access them online or by mail. Once you set up an account, you'll be able to view your payment history and other tax records. Just go to irs.gov/gettranscript. Mike Holfeld, Getting Results, News 6.
That would be great news for people who don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you get a refund, just treat it like you didn't get it because you weren't expecting it.
Love
and
that
just
idea.
save it. All right, so Mike has posted everything you need to know about who could be owed money and how to find out. It's all on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
Our third top trending story proves Publix fans want to be in the know. The headline, 2 new Publix stores coming to Central Florida. Here's where and when. Well, I can tell you, tomorrow is the opening day. The first of those new Publixes will open on Stadium Parkway in Melbourne in the Vieira area, inside the Addison Center at Vieira Shopping Center. This one will have a liquor store attached, but for an even bigger new Publix, hop on I-95, hit the beach line, head about 50 miles northwest to Oviedo. The renovated Publix on Alafaya Woods Boulevard is in Alafaya Square. And a third Publix opens tomorrow in Lee County.
Floridians love their Publix, and a pub sub.
I know about them, yeah.
You heard of them? I just saw
Had a
an
few.
ad today for the one where they put the chicken tenders in it. I don't know what chicken tender.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
It is good.
So good. All right. Well, close to 5,000 people have clicked on the Publix story today alone. Nearly 20,000 in just 2 days, if that tells you anything. So that leads to tonight's News 6 at 6:30 question of the day. What is your primary grocery store? Publix, Aldi, Winn-Dixie, or someplace else? Weigh in at clickorlando.com/react right now. Close to 300 of you have voted so far, and you might see it is quite lopsided in favor of homegrown Publix. Again, make your voice heard at clickorlando.com/react.
And if you have your phone handy, just open up your camera app, scan the QR code you see right there on your screen. The link will take you to the poll. We're going to have the results tomorrow night right here at 6:30.
If you're watching from Lakeland, I already know.
And by the way, the reason they put Publixes in, right? A lot of people are moving to that area. You're seeing so many Publix open all throughout the state of Florida.
Yeah.
More so than in years past. That's because of our growth, no doubt.
Here you are with the Boomtown report.
Got to spin it. Got to spin it. Last night's question of the day featured a somewhat forgotten plan to cut through the Sunshine State.
Yeah, as we told you last night, the Cross-Florida Barge Canal would have cut more than 600 miles off of the shipping route around the Florida Keys. It was also touted as a way to control flooding, but the so-called Ditch of Dreams was itself ditched in 1971 under fire from environmentalists. The equivalent of $500 million had already been spent. So we asked if you knew about this piece of Florida history. Close to 1,000 viewers weighed in on this question.
And about 62% had not heard of the Barge Canal. You can learn more about it on the homepage of clickorlando.com. And don't forget to make your voice heard on today's question at clickorlando.com/react.
Well, every day they are fighting to protect your children from the predators on the internet.
And News 6 got an inside look at how they do their job. Up next in protecting our community, why they say parents must play an essential role and the real-life dangers kids face if they don't.
Plus, we brought you the 5th SpaceX launch of the month live just about an hour or so ago. Launch 6 could come faster than you think. An update from the Cape coming up in just minutes.
Plus a new park built for a booming corner of Orange County. People who have lived there long enough to see the changes welcome the place for kids to play, but hope county leaders keep one thing in mind.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Ocoee, Windermere, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Now at 6:30, are parents getting the message to protect their children by policing them online?
The Volusia County Sheriff became worried. The answer was no. He took action after a man was arrested last year accused of raping a teen he met online. Sheriff Mike Chitwood started bringing together detectives and parents to drive home the consequences of kids on the internet who are unmonitored. Tonight, News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken is following up to see how the sheriff's idea is protecting our community.
Detective LeMay and Detective Cloutier, you were both in the child exploitation unit. And I wanted to have a real conversation with both of you here in your offices where you investigate some 65 cases a month involving kids here in Volusia County.
And in an effort to try to reduce those numbers, we started hosting the Youth Safety Internet Forums.
Is when you leave here tonight, you're a little bit smarter about what's going on.
Where we invited parents to just talk about what's going on, the cases that we're seeing online, the trends, and what parents need to know and what they need to look out for. We had an adult male that met a 15-year-old on TikTok.
You started out with 4 scheduled, and that turned into 20.
A lot of parents realize that they really don't know a lot about the social medias and what their kids are actually doing on the internet.
What did parents say to you at these meetings?
A lot of them were shocked. They had no idea. We actually listed case examples. We just got a case the other day of a 15-year-old boy. He was exchanging nudes with somebody. We were seeing cases involving children as young as 8, sometimes even younger.
8?
8. What we told people at these forums was, you have to stop thinking of the social media apps as harmless entertainment.
Entertainment.
Don't think of them as entertainment, but start thinking them as digital house keys. We have had multiple cases where teenagers, young females, have invited men either to the house or inside the house, and they have no idea who these men are.
How many parents would you say you have reached over the last several months in person and then putting this presentation online, which, by the way, we have a link to on clickorlando.com?
Hundreds.
And you're seeing a slight drop.
We're seeing a drop in like the self-production cases, we call them, where students, elementary school students, middle school students are taking photos or videos of themselves and then sending them online.
So for all the time that you've put in already, you feel like you're making a little bit of progress, you're getting through.
Slowly chipping away.
And last thing, detectives, if people are watching this and saying, I would really, really like to have this presentation at my school or my community center, what do? You will do it for them.
Yeah, they reach out to the sheriff's office, and if we can accommodate them, then we will.
And we put that contact information inside the story on clickorlando.com. Thank you both, protecting our community in Volusia County with the Child Exploitation Unit. Eric Von Eichen, Getting Results, News 6.
You just can't have too many eyes, especially when your kids are involved.
Parents got to be involved.
Yeah.
Got to be involved. And we have also put a link to the entire internet safety presentation on clickorlando.com. The child exploitation detectives recorded it in case parents would like to watch.
Yeah, look for this story inside the Protecting Our Community section under the Getting Results tab.
1, 2, 3.
Well, a new park is now open for people living in the Summer Lake community in West Orange County. Summer Lake Park, located on Porter Road, not far from the 429 near the booming Horizon West community.
So we met one woman at today's opening who is pleased to see the new park after seeing huge changes since moving to Winter Garden in 2016.
Growth is good, but it's also sad seeing all the orange groves leave because we were here when there was orange groves everywhere, and now we have a lot more homes and businesses, which we want more businesses, but yeah, a lot of growth.
So District 1 Commissioner Nicole Wilson says with more people moving to Orange County each week, it's important to invest in green spaces for families. She spoke with News 6's Ezzy Castro.
Over the years, I've seen you do a lot of these groundbreakings, you know, parks here, parks over there, and I mean, it doesn't stop. I don't think you'll see it stop.
No, absolutely. It's built into the plan, and part of the things that we have to do as leaders is to make sure to prioritize these things. You know, it's part of the actual planning process to look at a map way, way ahead of time.
As he says, the park features a shaded playground, and at night you can watch the Magic Kingdom's fireworks launch less than 10 miles away. But that just goes to show you how fast growth happens, because that woman who moved there in 2016, there were still orange groves everywhere.
Now, they were probably dead, but yeah, no, and that's a similar thing that you hear all around Central Florida, especially in the western part of Orange County and into Lake County, where a lot of growth is happening. Yes, it was a lot of ranch land, a lot of scrub land, a lot of former orange groves, and it's tough, but that's why a lot of people live in Horizon West, because you can see those fireworks from Disney World. It is so close, especially with that 429 right through there. Well, tonight, SpaceX's 5th Florida launch of the month is on its way to orbit, and launch number 6 could be just a day away.
3, 2, 1, 0, mission liftoff.
We brought you the liftoff live here on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. A Falcon 9 sends up another batch of 23 Starlink internet satellites at 5:26 from Kennedy Space Center. This booster has now launched and landed 12 times.
Wow, okay, so today's launch could be the start of a double header on board. Still more Starlink internet satellites. While SpaceX has not confirmed a launch tomorrow, they did ask for a launch forecast, that's a hintity hint, for 6:40 to 10:40 tomorrow night. Weather is a 90% chance go. Of course, we will keep you posted. I can't see those launches enough, and a nighttime launch is really pretty spectacular.
I just want to know, I'd love to talk to someone who has Starlink, the internet service, because we see these things going up
all the time. Who has
every day
one?
seemingly. And who has one, and how is that? How is it?
There was rumor we have one here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw someone working on it upstairs one day.
I don't know. I mean, we're shooting up a bunch of those satellites. I feel like it's probably real strong.
I would imagine so. Yeah, guys. By the way, they didn't ask me for the forecast. They said they asked for a forecast.
Well, they should. I mean,
I agree.
you are our weather-wise
Would you give it a 90 like they are?
94.5. Oh. A little bit higher.
Never
It's
100.
going to be nice. Yeah.
Never 100.
Got it. No, those guys and gals down there, the meteorologists on the 45th, they are awesome. Temperatures today, guys, getting back into the mid to upper 80s. We're going to be making a run for 90 degrees as we get into tomorrow, so the heat back on over the next couple of days. That is a live look in Daytona Beach. Just a few high wispy clouds out there with our Daytona, Toyota, DeLand, Kia Skycam back to the upper 70s. Gorgeous evening again with that breeze, that nice breeze out of the east at about 10 miles an hour. We're at 85 in Leesburg right now. Good evening in the Villages. We're at 84. 84 also for us in Ocala. Kissimmee, we are at 85. Rockledge into Titusville, we're back to the upper 70s right now. Tonight, we are getting back into the lower 60s in Palm Coast, getting a little bit warmer. We talked about this really over the weekend and starting on Monday that we would add a couple of extra degrees by night and by day as we head to record territory this weekend. For that, here's a look at your pinpoint, accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Temperatures tomorrow likely starting a nice stretch of 90-degree weather if you like that stuff. Average high temperatures this time of the year climbing back into the middle 80s. We're back to 89 in Sanford, right around 90 in Orlando, 89 for us in Kissimmee tomorrow. We're at 86 in Palm Coast, low to mid 80s for us into Bunnell as well, all because of this big chunk of high pressure. We've been pinpointing this guy for the last couple of days. He's been hanging out over the Yucatan and it's expanding over the Gulf of Mexico. When these things sit on top of you, they do a couple different things. First and foremost, they're deflecting every weather system that's trying to come in this direction, pushing it towards our north. So that's what's keeping us on the drier side. When these things also sit on top of you, they promote sinking air. When air sinks, it keeps things dry, and it also warms it up. So that's going to keep us pretty warm over the weekend as well. You see the blue colors coming back, at least to southern parts of Georgia. That's a big upper low coming through that's going to help to cool us back down just a little bit as we get into Monday. So this is not the start of summer just yet. For that, here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast. Certainly going to feel like it, though, over the next couple of days. Back to the low 90s on Friday with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 93 for us on Saturday, and that's the day we're going to watch for some records to potentially fall. We're going to be in the same ballpark anyway. 93 for us on Sunday as well. And there's that next system coming our way on Monday. That's going to be a cold front. 30% shot for scattered showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon. You see what it does? It does take our temperatures back to the middle 80s, so not a blast of cold air by any means, but it does get us back to more seasonable numbers, guys, which again is right into the mid 80s.
Well, by Monday, I think we're going to be wanting that rain to come through.
We need it, yeah.
I know my grass does. Thank you, Jonathan. Well, it is kind of like a spring break, a surprise one for Rollins College students.
Yeah, it's nice. They woke up to learn all classes were canceled. A decades-long tradition when News 6 at 6:30 continues.
And putting one paw in front of another with your favorite furry family member can get results. The new twist to make this year's Paws for Peace even more competitive. Stay with us. We're back in just over a minute. Well, students at Rollins College want a day off today. It's Fox Day.
Yay.
One day each spring, a statue of the Rollins Fox is placed on Tars Plaza at the center of campus, and that means all classes are canceled.
What a fun surprise. Fox Day has taken place each year since 1956, except for 1962 and a 7-year suspension in the 70s. The president of Rollins College picks a spring day to give students a day off, and they all love it. The 13th annual Pause for Peace Walk is coming up, a benefit for one of our favorite nonprofits here at News 6.
Yeah, money raised helps support survivors of domestic violence by making sure the family pets have a safe place to go as well. So this morning on Breakfast with Bridget, Harbor House CEO Michelle Spurzel joined morning anchor Bridget Ellison to talk about Pause for Peace. This year's theme is a safe space for all. So sci-fi and space costumes are encouraged, but of course that has a double meaning.
We're really hoping that we get the Trekkies out, and then we also end up getting the Star Wars people out. You know, we're really hoping that we get a good battle going on with people who is their favorite. So we're really talking about that it is a safe space for all, and that is what we want to create for individuals who are experiencing domestic violence in their home. And when they come into our emergency shelter, that there is a safe place for their pet.
I do love this so very much because it's so important. Now, Pause for Peace will be Saturday, April 27th at Blue Jacket Park in Baldwin Park. And this year, Trooper Steve and News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval, along with their dogs, are serving as co-ambassadors for Pause for Peace. We've both done it as well.
Absolutely.
In the past. It's a really
No,
good
it's a
time.
great event. I always love doing that. And tomorrow, Breakfast with Bridget dives into support and self-care strategies for new moms. It all starts at 7:30 a.m. right here on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. Then stick around for Weather-Wise with this guy, Jonathan Kagas, at 8 and Trooper Steve on patrol at 8:30.
I do have to say you do an excellent job on Weather-Wise. We got a taste of it last night during News 6 at 6:30, so
Thank
great
you.
job.
I appreciate that.
Love
It's a lot of
it.
fun.
You got a lot of fans, too. All right, thanks for
I don't know about
watching
that.
News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back here tonight at 11. Take care.